then boom, we're here, man. And before I say
Yeah.
anything, man, y'all motherfuckers who are guests on my show, y'all gotta stop with this goddamn middle initial shit. Like, you're like the third or fourth guest where I think I wrote down a
Yeah.
middle initial on the video version. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck? Like you don't even need that to go to a bank anymore. Like when you give that, like that option is
Yeah.
optional, and then they actually get upset. Like I gotta put a goddamn M on the fucking debit card for you. Like what the fuck, man?
Yeah. So my name, I have one of the most generic names in the world,
John.
which is why, you know what I mean? I gotta spike. John is such a generic name, man. So it's like, it's Jon M Will, yeah,
Well, here,
that's
what
why.
you also spell it, and by the way, this I told you in the email. I think this is an explicit like podcast. You're okay, like if you don't want to say certain
Cool.
things, you're cool. But I might say some certain things that
Oh,
it's
it's all
cool.
good, man.
You got all right. Then I'm gonna say this, man. You're spelling John like the gayest version. It's supposed to be John, like the
Oh,
Joh.
fuck that, man. I hate the H. I hate the H. I hate it.
But
You
you
know why?
don't. Yeah, why? Why? Tell me.
Well, because all right, so if your name is Jonathan, that H isn't there.
Of
You spell it
course.
Jon. There you go, man. I hate when people spell my full name and they put John. That's come on, man. When that's the cool way to spell it is Jon, not
Well,
with the H, man.
okay,
H is
I'm
unnecessary.
gonna just act like you didn't say the cool way of spelling John is Jon. But so is your first name Jonathan? Like your full
Yeah,
name? Who the fuck is
that's my
spelling
that's my first
Jonathan
dude,
Johnata? Like what? No one does
dude,
that.
dude. You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised at how bad people fuck up the name Jonathan, man. You'd be completely. I'm telling you.
I've
I'm
never se-
telling J. Yeah,
I've never
yeah.
seen anyone John.
John. Yeah, yeah. It's a mess, but
That's some
right.
crazy ass shit. What about your YouTube channel though? That's a way cooler name than Jon. Um, how do you get that? Like, what is law of like what is it?
Polaris.
Yeah, paralyzed or
Polaris.
something. Yeah, what is that? What's that from?
Yeah. So before it became like a sports channel, if you go back and look at some of my older videos, I think I put a lot of them on unlisted, but
Hmm.
I talked about like deep philosophical shit before I did the video about Bill Belichick. And the whole Polaris thing is, I'm from the Philly area, so certain times of the night you can walk outside and you can see the North Star. And the reason why that's significant, and I'm gonna get real deep on you,
Oh, jeez.
is well, it goes. So Philadelphia was the landing spot for a lot of runaway slaves. When they would come from Virginia, Georgia, wherever throughout the Underground Railroad, they used that North Star as like a guide. North Star is the Polaris, and so I always looked at Philadelphia was with a lot of us, the African American descendants from Philadelphia, we were the ones who fought back, who ran away. We were, that's a lot of spirit, the spirit of Philadelphia. So that's always been something real like deep to me. And I actually wanted to get a tattoo of like that whole constellation, but in theory it sounds good, but walking around with a bunch of fucking dots on your arm, it just doesn't look right. So Law of Polaris, I talked about a lot of deep stuff, and then I did this video right after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, like literally 2 weeks later. So I was watching that whole game, like something ain't right. Belichick, he's not in the game. And I did this video and it was like, hey, Belichick probably threw this game. He probably just didn't want to win. And I was like, people are going to watch this. They're going to go, yeah, John, you're funny. It's not really going to go anywhere. And then it just went viral, man. 3 million views later. And
Damn.
yeah. And then I just got this whole big audience of football lovers like myself. And I was like, hey, man, look, you love football. You like talking about football. Maybe change the direction of the channel, make it about football and grow it and build it from there. And then I have my other outlets, like I talk like Instagram and stuff like that. I talk about my deep philosophical stuff on there. Um, but yeah, man, that's the genesis of it.
That's cool. So basically, your channel started with you kind of talking about black people running when it came to the slave trade, and it evolved to black people running on an NFL field. That's a big progression, man. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You got it, man.
It all ties in. Yeah. But no, man. Like, so the name came from that, but I would talk about a lot of like spirituality and like how not to think negative and all that. I do a lot of meditation and stuff like that. But
Nice, man.
yeah, you're probably like, oh, this is like the lamest shit ever. But no, dude,
dude, not at all, man, not at all. I was actually just watching a couple hours before getting on here a video about like the pineal gland or whatever. And meditation there, and I'm over here watching this like about how like it could get corroded or whatever, and you gotta do this, and I'm over here like, motherfucker, I had a brain MRI, I got a cyst on that fucking gland, like what the I'm fucked. Like, I don't even know what the like. Do I got two of those? Do I got two third eyes? I got a third and a fourth eye. I don't even know where the fuck I'm at now.
Yep. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I always tell people, man, I'm one head injury away from being a complete schizophrenic, man, because it runs in my family.
Well, the way the way I found out about your channel though was the first video I saw, and I want to get into this in a bit. I do want to go back to that Bill Belichick thing though, because that's an awesome thing to talk about. But the way I found out about your channel was when you were talking about how the new NFL playoff format, how like at least it was titled this way, like how it's the worst format or whatever. Shit, I don't want to forget the Bill Belichick thing. The other thing I'll remember, and I have like the worst ADHD. So do you honestly, even like now, because it's been a few years, it's been actually a long time. I think it's been like what, 5 years, 6 years now?
No, this is the second year that they've done it this way.
Done what? No. I'm sorry, about when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Oh. Yeah, it was 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago.
4 years. It's amazing that like Peterson, he's out, and like it seems like he might not even have a job this coming. It's so weird how that shit works. Yeah. But do you really think he threw it?
So, all right.
Be honest. I'm not saying like you have sources. I'm just like, do you think he threw it?
All right. Here's what I think he did. I think what he did was he decided that he was not going to participate in the game, and I think he wanted to signify to Brady, because if you remember, they had a big falling out that year.
Yes.
Brady was bringing like his personal trainer buddy into all the meetings and shit like that, and he was doing his TB12 TV show, and it was kind of this riff where Belichick felt like Brady was becoming too big of an influence, and it was just like, dude, this is still my team. Like, we win championships because of me, motherfucker, not because of you. And I think Brady, after 17 years, you get tired of putting up with somebody's bullshit. And I think Brady was just like, nah, man, I'm not, fuck you. Nah, this is my team. I'm the reason we won. So I think what Belichick did was defense is such an important part of winning a championship. And I think Belichick was like, all right, you're going to win this Super Bowl, win it on your own. I'm going to take Malcolm Butler out last minute, and I'm not going to coach. And if you can go out there and beat the Eagles by yourself, since you clearly don't need me, then do it. And if you can't, then recognize who's the fucking boss, who's the man, and don't ever get in my face again or whatever. Then think about it this way, right? That final score of that Super Bowl was 41-33. That was a ridiculously high scoring game. It was like literally no defense. What's Bill Belichick known for? His defense. And then the next year they go out and play the Rams. And what was the final score there? It was like 10-3 or some shit like that. It was like one of the...
I think it was 13-3. Like there was like a last second field goal to make it a 2-possession game. But yeah, it was dude. That was the Seahawks blowing out the Broncos was a better Super Bowl than the Rams Patriots Super Bowl. It was that was the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen in my lifetime, remembering watching Super Bowls.
Yeah, but what, so for somebody like me, I actually like shit like that. I like defensive struggles.
But that wasn't a defensive. The Rams' offense was atrocious. Golf was like. I understand what you're saying. I do like that Packers Niners game the other week. That was cool.
Right.
I loved it. There's snow and everything. That game was not like that. That offense for the Rams was bad.
It was bad because if you look at what Belichick did on defense, it was fucking masterful.
Fair. That's fair.
It was masterful. And if he had brought that same energy to the Eagles, we would have got fucking destroyed.
So with that, so first thing I'll say with all that is, you know, and I think you'll agree. Like at the end of the day, us two and the vast majority of sports fans were on the outside looking in. So I personally, I have no idea what the actual inner dynamic of Belichick and Brady was or is. You can, you know,
right.
And I tried not to listen to a lot of like the Hollywood news sports stuff because it just gets too overwhelming when it's 24/7. But I get what you're saying because it did seem like there's a rift, and most probably because I mean at the end of the day, Brady's now on a different team, and it wasn't like the Patriots were a 4-win team when he left. That Super Bowl, man. It is crazy, like with the Butler thing. I remember there was a story that came out about like Butler, I think, messing with some girl that was like related to Belichick. It might have been his daughter too, or something. Like some weird reports came out. But Brady had like 500 something yards of passing that game.
He did.
He crushed it. Like he still did. Like he did his job, and that's a weird. Isn't that weird though that he had that type of game? And I understand the Rams defense the next year was way better than the Eagles defense, but for them to go from like a quarterback throwing for 500 yards to basically scoring 10 points, they scored 13. That's weird, man. That's such a flip-flop right there.
It is. And, you know, at the end of the day, Brady's the GOAT, you know, and I think the reason why he didn't want to shake Nick Foles' hand and why he's still so bitter about that, because he was talking shit when the Bucs beat the Eagles. He posted a video referencing Super Bowl 52, had Meek Mill playing in the background. He's still real bitter about that. And I think he's so bitter about that because he knows that the Patriots were supposed to win that game and Belichick robbed him of that. You know, I think, you know, and he would never come out and say it publicly, but I think that's the reason he didn't want to shake Nick Foles' hand. He was like, "Look, you didn't earn this. You got this because my dickhead coach decided he didn't want to be a coach."
Maybe it's more so because Foles believes in God and Brady believes in kale.
Oh yeah,
maybe that's the real. I don't know. I don't even like he. Yeah, he's. I mean, he had an amazing game. I could imagine any player being bummed out having that kind of game and not winning. I forgot what he did with Eli though, because I'm a Giants fan, so I forgot what he did with Eli. The two, I know like there was a big thing. I remember this. This is like bringing me back when I was a kid. I remember the 2007 Super Bowl. Eli and the Giants running onto the field, and Eli went to give him a handshake before the game, and Brady just kept his hands in his pockets and shushed him away. I wonder, but I'm sure at this point, I mean, I think he was on the Manning cast, so I'm sure.
Yeah, they're cool now.
I don't know if they're like having swim parties, but I don't care. It was an entertaining game, that Eagles Patriots game, way better than that fucking Rams game, man. Seriously.
Yeah, no, it was, and going back to 2007. I remember when that happened, and I'm an Eagles fan, so naturally, I don't like the Giants. But I hate
the Eagles because there's a lot of people who are old. Like I would say, the people who are 45 plus Giant fans, they hate the Cowboys more. It's like, dude, growing up, the Cowboys were a nothing team. I mean, hell, the Redskins. Formerly the Redskins had Rex Grossman. He was a better quarterback than whatever and the Eagles were the one who were winning. They had McNabb and Reed, and they had LaShawn McCoy, not LaShawn McCoy, Westbrook. So Westbrook, they were winning game. They had Owens and so I hate the fucking Eagles, man. Hate them. I love you, man, but I fucking hate the goddamn Eagles.
Well, I mean, see that brings up a good point because I'm a little bit older than you, and I grew up in the 90s where the Cowboys will fucking reign supreme.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, that's an Eagle thing, man. Like we always hate on all the other NFC East teams, but we hate the Cowboys.
But how do you hate Washington? Like who? I don't even hate them. I feel bad for them.
You know why? Because they're never good. They're never good.
So why would you? That's like hating on a homeless man for always being poor. It's like, why would you hate him? Just let him be poor. He's poor. There's nothing to hate. There's nothing to envy.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if I go throughout my entire lifetime, there was the 2 years that they had RG3, and that literally was the only time the Redskins and the Washington football team was good. Like in my entire lifetime, is that like year and a half?
Hey! They won the division at 6-10 a couple years ago.
Dude.
Were they 6? I forgot. Were they 6-10 or 7-9? I honestly forgot. They were 6-10, right?
I believe they were 6-10. That was a participation.
And it was not, because that was probably the toughest game the Bucs played in the playoffs,
which was hilarious.
It's because they had a fucking good D line, but yeah, dude, you're right about that. Not even really the second year, really only the rookie year for RG3, where they were they actually had a chance to make a little run in the postseason.
Right. But so. 07, I remember the Patriots went 16-0, right? And I never had a problem with the Patriots. They're AFC. It's Boston's got nothing to do with Philly or the Eagles. But I wasn't alive in 1972. So I was like, holy shit, this could be literally the greatest season. They'll be better than the 72 Dolphins. I could tell my kids about it, my grandkids. Hey, I remember in 07, the Patriots won every single game. And you know, playoffs is going down. Giants beat the Packers, I think, in the NFC Championship game.
Yes, sir, they did.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is a really good fucking Giants team, man.
Yes, sir, they were, man. They were good on the trenches, man. They were good on the trenches. You found out Eli's good in the postseason, and he had a weapon in Burris, man. I mean, the team had, and listen, man, they did not have a lot of offensive talent, but they had enough.
They had enough, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm watching them beat the Packers, and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh man. I was like, if anybody fucks up the perfect season, wins the Super Bowl, dear God, don't let it be the Giants. Please don't let it be the Giants. And then, like, I think when helmet catch happened, I think everybody in the stadium watching it on TV was like, it's over. Giants win the Super Bowl. Like when that shit happened, we were like, oh, it's over. And that wasn't even the play that won the game for him. It was the touchdown. I know. But when you saw helmet catch happen, you just knew, man. There was just like the football gods were just like, no, Giants are winning.
Dude, I remember on that, I think it was the same drive. It has to be the same drive. Shit, it's been so long. I was a kid.
The same drive.
No. The play I'm thinking of that I had the most nerve-wrackingness was it was a 3rd and 11. And Steve Smith, I forgot if he ran like a hook or an out route or something, but it was a route where he had to run to the sideline and pick up the majority of those 11 yards to get a first down. And I was fucking just biting my nails like, oh my God, come on. Oh shit, dude.
Yeah. But, man. Yes, I mean, salute to you guys, man. Y'all, you know.
How happy are you, bro, that the Eagles won that Super Bowl? Like how ecstatic are you, man?
Fucking dude, I was thinking I'll go my whole life and never see an Eagles Super Bowl. Like I was
like now that I think about it, you grew up with the Dynasty Cowboys, and then you grew up with Peyton Manning's younger brother winning 2 Super Bowls. Right. I was like the McNabb, like in the beginning of that run, the McNabb-Reed dynasty was ending in a way. Which is
we owned Eli. That's what so sucks. Like you go back and look, and we owned Eli. And that's probably why you hate the Eagles.
Dude, like I said, the Cowboys and Washington were nothings to me. The Eagles. Okay, so twofold, and like you just said, one, they had a Super Bowl caliber team with one of the greatest offensive-minded head coaches in the past 30 years, maybe the greatest. McNabb was. He was a quintessential, he was kind of like these quarterbacks now before that style took off, and also before the rules really helped them to stay healthy. I actually thought McNabb got a lot of flack at the end of his career. I was like, he's not a Hall of Famer or anything like that, but he had a nice career in the NFL, man. I mean, fuck, give the guy some respect. But dude, they always beat the Giants. They shut down the Giants in the year after the Giants won the Super Bowl, and they were just always a better team for when I was a kid.
Yeah, and what sucks about that, and salute to Andy Reid, because Andy Reid just had the worst legacy as being the biggest choke artist ever. But it's like,
Yeah.
how do you go to four? How do you lose 3 straight NFC Championship games? How do you go to the Super Bowl and your quarterback's throwing up? And I mean, we were down by 10, and he's just moseying along down the field. And even after the game, they were like, "What were you thinking? You're down by 10, and you're not even. There's no sense of urgency." And he was like, "Oh, well, we were just hoping for the onside kick." And I was like, "Really? That's your game plan?"
Yeah, You know what's crazy, man? Andy Reid's an amazing coach. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's not even
definitely.
like a Hall of Fame coach. He's like the 1% of the 1%. He's up there. He really is, based off his longevity and everything. But, dude, he's 4 feet away from sexy Jimmy Garoppolo completing a deep pass where it would keep Mahomes with no Super Bowls, Andy Reid still with no Super Bowl. Like, that one pass that Garoppolo just overthrew by, like, I'm picturing, I think it was like only 4 feet. That one pass changes so many legacy. I mean, Mahomes has a $500 million contract. I understand the guarantees and all that. That one pass, and people act like Garoppolo's this. Why is he even start? It's like because the Niners actually win with him. Like, God, not everyone can be Peyton Manning. I mean, Christ, dude, you can have good quarterbacks. You don't have you can't always have the best guy.
And that's the thing that like the Garoppolo hate, because the Garoppolo's been injured a lot, and every time he's not in the starting lineup for the 49ers, they do not win games.
They don't.
They can't fucking win without him. So to your point, he gets the job done. And I was gonna say, so if Andy Reid stopped at the Eagles, or if he did not do what he did in Kansas City or is continuing to do, I don't think the Hall of Fame discussion is there. I think he'd be one of those.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're 100% right. Just kind of like with Tom Coughlin and the Jaguars, and Ramil when he was the coach of the Eagles, and then went to the Rams later on. Was it Ramil? It was him, right?
Dick Ramil, yeah. And then he won the Super Bowl with the Rams. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, just one play, one game, it changes an entire legacy. So yeah, man, I was happy we got that one, because I was in high school in the early 2000s, so I suffered all those NFC Championship losses and losing in the Super Bowl, and it was torture, man. So to see us finally get one, and then and then the crazy thing is, as bad as the Redskins are, whenever I would have debates, I don't know if you ever saw that meme where they would put up the Super Bowl wins for NFC East teams, and Redskins got, I think, 2, Cowboys got one.
No, they got 3. They got 3.
They got 3.
With Gibbs, the Cowboys got 5, and the Giants got 4.
And then they would show the Eagles, and it'd be like a ring pop or some shit.
I think even before the Eagles won theirs, I think the NFC East has the most Super Bowl wins. I think they do.
That would make sense. Because I think if you think about the other divisions, you have one great team. Like, think about the AFC North. You got the Steelers, and then
I was just thinking of them. Like, the Ravens got 2, but both the Browns and Bengals have 0.
Yeah, they're garbage. And I think you can handpick any division. And if you look at the long term, you got 1 or 2 great teams, and the other 2 are just. But yeah, man. I was very happy to see that. And,
what's your thoughts on? Because I feel like you, even as an Eagles fan, you have a very non-biased view. Do you think Tom Coughlin is a Hall of Fame coach?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's got those 2 with the Giants. He's the only time the Jaguars were ever any good was when he was the coach, and then he came back as the because he was the head coach at one point, right? When they had the whole Byron Leftwich era. Or am I making that up?
With the Jaguars, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the Jaguars, they went to 2 AFC Championship games, and one of those years was the years that when the Rams won. They were 14-2, bro. They go to the championship game. They're playing the Titans, who they were 0-2 versus, and they lost. They
Right.
lost to one team that year, which was the Titans.
Yep.
I give him a lot of credit with the Jaguars. I mean, so
Yeah.
with the Giants and the Jaguars, that's 4 championship games, 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl wins, a ton of wins under his belt, a really nice win total, dynamic duo with him and Eli. But the one thing with the Jaguars I take away from, and I've noticed this with expansion teams throughout other leagues, including the NFL, for some reason, they make it, not for some reason, just it seems like a lot of them come out the gate swinging. Like even the Panthers made the Super Bowl very soon in their young career or young franchise history. So it just seems to like look at the Las Vegas Knights or whatever, the Golden Knights a couple years ago. I think they made the Stanley Cup their very first year of existence.
I don't know anything about hockey, so
that's one of the only thing. Listen, man, that might be the whitest thing I might know in my life is that one Las Vegas Knight thing. But it's just, I don't know. Like he's on the. I would put him as a Hall of Famer. I think my bias, but 2 reasons. One, I think there's head coaches that have won Super Bowl ring that are not almost, they're locks. Like I think Sean Payton's a lock for the Hall of Fame. Andy Reid's a lock for the Hall of Fame. I even think Harbaugh is a lock for the Hall of Fame. It's like here you have a coach who has a good amount of wins. He might not have stuck with a single franchise as long as those guys to a certain degree, but he's got, he's also got 2 appearances in the Super Bowl. One, I don't know, man. I would have to put him above the line and put him in the Hall of Fame, definitely.
You know what? I mean, you going through his resume like that, you make some good points.
I'm a good point kind of guy, man.
There you go. You know what it is? I don't think anybody would object to seeing Tom Coughlin in the Hall of Fame. Like, if he made it, I think everybody would kind of go through their mental Rolodex and, go through his whole resume just like you did and be like, you know what? He deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah,
but for some reason,
strictly
he
head
just
coach.
doesn't come. Yeah, doesn't come top of mind for some reason when you think about Hall of Fame coaches. But I guess he should.
Yeah, which is I gotta admit that's funny too. And that's odd. It could be for 2 reasons. Just one, the first head coaching stint he had was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which no one gives a fuck about. And the second thing is that it kind of is long ago. And really, what the Giants did with that 07 championship, it's like that's looked at as like an Eli Giants thing. And like it's just such a big moment. You like kind of, oh yeah, that's right. Who was the head coach of that game? Like it's fucking Tom Coughlin, and he should also get a lot of credit for adapting because he adapted and became lighter and less stringent, and that really helped the team take a breather and make that run.
And not only that, but when you think about it, both times he was with the Jaguars, once as the head coach, and then the other, I think he's the GM. For the only times the Jaguars were ever any good when Tom Coughlin was there.
I forget, was he there the year that Ramsey was like, "We're gonna win that bish"?
Yeah, that was 2017. That's when they had Blake Bortles. I mean, and they almost beat the Patriots, and it would have been the Eagles playing the.
They should have, and I'll tell you why they lost that game, man. And this is my God honest. That head coach gave up faith on Bortles just playing. It's like, dude. I understand. You think like, yeah, it's Blake Bortles, blah blah blah, ha ha ha. Right. He had a huge run against the Bills 2 games ago that helped you win a game, and threw a touchdown pass on a 4th and goal that was the only touchdown pass I think that whole game. And then he actually had a really good to great game against the Steelers, kind of like Tim Tebow-esque. When it's like, dude. You have the Patriots. You just got to throw like some faith in his quarterback, and he didn't. He like curled up in a ball, didn't let Bortles make the throws at the end of the game, and the Patriots won.
That's right. Let me ask you this. I just put out a video, shameless plug, on my channel. 5 disappointments of the 2021 season. I did a little teaser. I didn't do all 5 in the one video. The first 2 I did was Urban Meyer and Carson Wentz. Here's my question to you. Now that we know everything that came out about Urban Meyer, do you think if none of this stuff ever came to light about him kicking players and having like chicks grind on him at a bar or whatever bullshit. Do you think he would have been any good? Do you think he would have actually turned around the Jaguars, or just would have continued to be a dumpster fire?
Again, so this kind of goes into that like that 24/7 sports thing and everything. It's so much like,
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, well, my expertise of playing football in middle school tells me. But in all honesty, from my eyes looking in, it seemed like he just didn't care. So no, I think he made remarks were put out that he thinks the NFL player is like coddled. I'm paraphrasing, but like they deserve, like they think they deserve a lot or whatever. So I think he got into that situation because he was kind of given a king's ransom, very similar to Phil Jackson getting a huge contract from James Dolan from the Knicks. Like, please, we'll pay you $70 million. Just please help this team. I think the same thing happened with Jacksonville. He got there and was like, yeah, the money's cool and everything, but I mean, I'll show up. Kind of. He didn't even show up after some of the games. He showed up. Yeah. He got fired. I'm sure he's getting, if not all, at least close to that whole contract he was issued. So no, I don't think at all he was going to turn around. I think he got like a king's ransom in a way to coach in the NFL. He saw it wasn't for him, and he was on borrowed time almost the second he got in. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, I don't follow college a lot, but I did a little bit of homework, and I was just like, for a guy to be this successful in college and like literally everywhere he went, I mean, it's eventually he's got to be able to trickle some of that over to the big leagues. But like you said, I think he wanted to play it his way, and I think in college, back then, like the bully shit that worked, like yelling in guys' face, calling them assholes, and you could do that when you're paying a dude $1 million or $500,000, but these guys get paid too much for you to be yelling in their face. Like,
they got options, my man.
Exactly. Like, you know what I mean? They don't have to play. They got these big, like when Andrew Luck retired, it's just like, dude, this dude made so much money. He's like, why am I getting hit?
He went to Stanford. Yeah, the guy's probably an accountant now.
Right. So it's a different game, and these older dudes, they're not adapting and adjusting to it. And that's why I think a lot of these really young coaches are being so successful, because that was unheard of. Like back then, a player's coach, you laughed at a player's coach, right? The coach was the old guy, the grumpy, and he was on the field with a bunch of 20-something-year-olds and calling them out their names, and it was like paramilitary. It was like, you know what I mean? Like that was the whole thing. But now that's just not where it is. Like you can have a 30-something-year-old, hanging out with his players and being cool, and apparently this generation just responds better to that. So,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I look at my girl's younger brother. I'm just like he's 1 or 2 years away from getting a rookie deal in the NFL in terms of like no, I'm sorry, he's not. I'm saying his age is that of someone who's like 1 or 2, like his age is of someone who would be like his sophomore year or freshman year of college. So I'm just looking at him, and I'm looking at the way he kind of acts and how he's on social media and it's just like. Yeah, dude, I'm not saying it's bad or good, the mentality of the majority of people in the generation after us, but it is a different mentality. Dude, by the way, man, it's so fucking annoying when people are like, you come here and you think you can just coach like it is in college. It's like, bro, not you. I'm talking about like the fucking commentators and everything, who act like, oh, look what Saban did. Look at Urban Meyer. It's like, yeah, look at what Pete Carroll did. He fucking he won a championship after winning a championship with USC, and even Barry Switzer way years back. It's like, dude, there are successful college coaches who make it really well in the NFL. I mean, Pete Carroll has a really good resume as an NFL coach. Yeah. Like it's right up there with his college resume. So it can be done. It just wasn't done with Meyer.
Yeah, and plus, like, the NFL still shit from college all the time and implemented it and recruit
Oh, the
minds
the
from
West Coast
college.
offense is such a college
All
thing
that.
with the wider
All
hash
that.
lines and everything.
Yeah, and we thought the Wildcat was going to be something. We thought that was going to be revolutionary, but nah, that didn't work out.
Yeah, the Ravens shut that down real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Hold on one second.
I'm actually, so I don't get specific in terms of like which state or anything I'm in, but it was cool that you said you were from PA because I'm from the Northeast too. I'm in that tri-state area as well.
You sound like it.
Yeah, I could tell right away when you were talking. I'm like, this guy, he's one of us. One of us. Google guy. Like, yeah, dude, you could tell.
Yeah.
Now tell me, man. Now I want to know, because I did see your video, but like maybe you have some new thoughts on it. So this whole playoff format and everything, because I want to get into that, and I want to get into like the 17 game schedule with you in the NFL,
right?
If that's cool, man.
Right.
So do you really like truly believe this is the because I gotta admit, man, you even said in your video at one point the season would end and it's like, all right, which one of you motherfuckers got the best record? Oh, you're 9-0. Okay, cool. Your championship. Here's a 6-pack of Bud and here's a pack of cigarettes, some Camel Lights. Fucking have fun with that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, in a way, I know that's not even really a playoff format, but like that's crazy to me, you know?
Yeah. So, all right. So I'll break down the fourth wall for you, and I think most people listening to this or watch videos a lot understand. Some of that, not to call it clickbait, but sometimes you have to come with a compelling title to get the view. So,
I do. Trust me. Yeah, I'm gonna call this one based off what we said. I might call this like slaves in the NFL. Like that might be the title of this episode.
And you get people to click on it, and and for they'll be like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then you never know, you might get a new fan. But no. So all right. So I was all right. One of the things that I love about the NFL, I think, it separates itself from any other major sport, and I don't really watch hockey like that, so I could be talking out of my ass.
Stop acting like I don't watch. I don't. Trust me, I don't watch hockey. I don't want to be I just knew a couple things. I know a couple things.
Yeah, but I mean, like, all right, the NBA, more teams get in the playoffs than don't. I think baseball is the same way. I'm not sure, but like, half the goddamn league is getting in the playoffs. What's the playoffs for? I like the NFL because it's 6 teams, both conferences. That's it. You get one game, right? Which you still only get one game. You don't get a series. But I just thought the previous format was so perfect. You got the top 2 teams get a bye. They get the rest. They deserve it. They're the top 2 teams. You got the other, then you got 4. You got the other 2 divisional, winners, and you got 2 wild cards, and it's simple. And the reason why the other playoff formats, and I broke it down in the video, were so funky and so choppy is because sometimes you had 27 teams in the NFL, you had 31 teams. It's really hard. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do with an odd number of teams? But the NFL got to a point where there's 32 teams, 32 teams, 8 divisions, 4 teams in each division. I mean, it's like mathematically beautiful. 6 teams go in, 2 get a bye. Like, mathematically, it just looks pretty. It's beautiful. It works. It's been working for the last 20 something years. We don't need a 7th team. It's a complete money grab, and it just fucked it up for me. Now, with that said, this particular offseason, these have been the best playoff games we've ever seen. And some of my YouTube comments was kind of, you're saying this, but look, this year is the best playoff series ever.
By the way, I'll say this. I'll nip that right in the butt. That has nothing to do with a playoff format. If all the games are great, that has nothing to do with it.
It doesn't. And the Eagles and the Steelers were fucking dog walk. Like, basically, the Bucs got a bye. Anyway.
The whole state of PA was just like, fuck, man. Fuck. From east to west.
There you go. So was that not just a bye week for the Chiefs and the Bucs anyway? So
Maybe
I
not
mean,
the
why
Bucks,
would it?
but yeah, definitely the Chiefs.
Why were they even there? Why were they? Why were they there? There was no point in having that game except for a money grab. And then the 17th, the week 17, the same thing, man. Like that's just a beautiful format. The 16 game schedule. You play, you play your division twice. You play another division in your conference. You play a division in the other conference, and then you play the top two teams, or no, the teams that match where you. I'm rambling, but you get what I'm saying.
No,
Like
dude, this is a podcast. You're the guest, man. You're supposed fucking mange, ramble, man, ramble.
What I'm saying is, it was mathematically beautiful. It looked good on paper, and it made sense. You just throw this fucking extra random ass game in there, and then now you got
I'm with you.
now you got a point where some teams get cheated out of a home game.
Okay, all right, we'll get to that in a second because I'll forget some of the things you just said about the playoff thing because we'll get to that regular season with the 7 teams. So I'm with you. Like I really am with the playoff format. I don't know if it's the worst or anything like that, blah blah blah, but like you just said, the 6 teams getting in both conference and the 16 game formula, I don't think it has anything to do with us living in that generation and then it just changing. I really do think kind of like it was perfect. It was
perfect.
It was like chocolatey round on that. I can understand even an argument though for a 14 game schedule, maybe because like a lot of teams, like half the league kind of takes the last week off because they have things locked up. But that could also happen with 14 games. So I can understand that argument. But the playoff format was right on the money.
Perfect.
The playoff format now, I care a little bit because it does water. I mean, 14 teams out of 32 it's starting to get there. And the reason why I don't like it is because I can definitely see sooner than later, them going, well, we got to make this even. And then it will be 16 teams. And then it will definitely, I mean, it will be 100% half the league is in there.
It's in the playoffs. Yeah.
One thing, though, I remember from that video, now that you brought it up, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. You said it's going to be way easier now for the number 1 seed to make it to the Super Bowl if they're the only team getting a bye. And right now, both number 1 seeds, they got axed. And to be fair, the Titans might have been the worst number 1 seed in a really long fucking time. But they both did lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so I mean, I think, and then we only have a sample size of 2 seasons, and I broke down the math on like the probability of the older format. So I'm like, if this is the probability, and I'm not looking at it, I don't got the paper in front of me, but I think it was already like north of 85% first seeds making it in or something like that. So this year is an anomaly, man. Like you said, the Titans, they had no business being the first seed. And then Green Bay, I mean, spoiler to any of my fans listening, but I'm making a separate disappointment video just on Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers because I don't know what the fuck that was. I mean, how do you lose a game? I mean, how do you lose a game?
Maybe he pulled the Belichick and he just said he went, fuck this, I ain't winning this shit. I'm throwing this game.
Dude, I would not be surprised, man. I think Aaron Rodgers is just like, go fuck this. I don't know, but it's an anomaly, man. And I do think once we get a bigger sample size and we're 10 years into this thing, it's just going to be, especially when coaches can figure out how to use that to their advantage. The fact that they're the only ones with a bye.
But that, I'm not disagreeing with you really with that because, like you said, the samples. Listen, we all say in the world of sports, everyone says something wrong or right or whatever. I don't know, man. I just think number 1 seeds my whole life have had a bye week. In essence, I don't think they're gaining anything. I really just think the number 2 seed is losing something more so than the number 1 seed gaining anything,
which is huge. It's huge because you're now the only. I mean, I think it's big because I don't know. See, now I got to go back and
Crunch
do some
the numbers.
analytics.
Fuck it. Where my sabermetrics at, man?
You can tell I'm a numbers guy, but
How about this?
no,
How about this? Like, I'll say this: 10 years from now, we can look if unless you look at my Twitter feed and see the insane stuff I write and go, yo, I gotta fucking isolate myself from this crazy motherfucker. 10 years from now, one of us is gonna be right, one of us is gonna be wrong, and you know what? It's not gonna mean a damn thing.
You're absolutely right about that. And then another thing, and I'll just go ahead and shoot myself in the foot with this one. I think when I did run those numbers in my video, what really skews that a lot is that over the last 20 years, the Patriots were in every fucking Super Bowl and they were always the first seed. So when I was like, oh, it's already skewed towards the number one seed, you got to really configure the Patriots and all that. Because, I mean, what think about a year over the last 20 years where they weren't the number one seed. I mean,
well, they said they said this year was the first year in 12 years that neither Tom Brady or Rodgers are in the conference championship.
Was in the conference champ. Yeah, exactly. And it's always, it's always one of them. So, but yeah, man, like you said, at the end of the day, it's, I think it waters it down and it's obvious it's a money grab. And there's really no need to have a 7th team in the playoffs, and there's no need to have a 17th game. There's no purpose for it.
Yeah. So you hate which one do you hate more, the postseason or the new regular season format?
I think I hate the 17th game more because from so many reasons. You got half the league is getting cheated out of a home game. It's such a random ass extra game to have, and it's pointless, man. It's just ugly to look at a 9-8 record. It just breaks my brain. Like how to.
I was happy the Steelers. I was happy the Steelers and the Lions tied. I'm like, just pretend the tie didn't happen, and pretend we're back in the past where things made sense. That's their record right there.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, and I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking like when they went from 14 games to 16 games, there was probably a bunch of old farts saying the same thing, like, this is bullshit. You need 2 more games, and, but. Hey, at the end of the day, I love football. So, like, give it a couple of years. I'm not even going to care. I'm like, fuck it, it's football. Let's watch TV.
Yeah, but I'm with you, though. And I don't think it's an old thing, at least not with me and maybe not with you. If they would have made it 18 games, I understand there's a huge thing with the players and the owners not letting that happen, blah, blah, blah. Let's just take that all out. Let's just make this as a fan. If they would have said, we're going from 16 to 18, I would have been like with my buffalo chicken wings, like, let's go, find more football. I would have been ecstatic, bro.
Yeah. You're right. Because it's back to even and it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Like, you're right. Yeah, like they didn't go from 14 games to 15. It's fucking
How
random.
How stupid would 15 games mean? Like, what? I can't. If I grew up with 15 games, I don't think the NFL would be under Little League hockey in America if it was 15 games.
Right. So no, you make a good point, man. That's if they went from 16 to 18 and they made it make sense, it probably would work. But that whole 17th game thing is just stupid.
You cannot have half the league have more away games than home games, and then you just can't. You can do that to Jacksonville. Let them go to London for 6 weeks or maybe 8 weeks. I don't give a fuck. But the rest of the league cannot have more away games than home. It's criminal, man. Like when seasons come down to the last game of the season, and maybe home. Exactly. I'm sure there's stats that show home field advantage is not the biggest deal in the world. For some teams, it is. It's just you can't do that. It blows my mind that is happening right now.
Yeah, it's huge, and like you said, I mean, you can always have one bad away game that fucks your whole season up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but I gotta tell you, since we're on the NFL, what pisses me off more than all that is the stupid ass taunting penalty. Like that's dude, like that's the type of shit that would ultimately make me stop watching football. Like they gotta stop with that bullshit, man. Because it just ruins the sport, man. Like, do you remember it all happened in one season, but you remember Sharpie, T.O. pulling out the Sharpie and Joe Horn pulling out the cell phone and the
That's
back and forth.
fun. That's fun to me,
Oh, it
man.
was so much fun,
In my
dude.
mind, that's fun. Dude, I gotta admit to you, man.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, when I saw Tyreek Hill running down the sideline and he put that peace sign up,
with the plus sign, yeah,
a part of my
sign,
heart dropped. I'm like, you cannot
everybody.
pull out a flag. I'm like,
don't pull out the flag.
If they do that, like there would have been places would have been on fire in them. It would have been like the Rodney King like riots, man. It would like that was one of the scariest moments I've ever seen as a person who doesn't have anything invested in either team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then the Rams game when they were playing shit. Why am I drawing a blank? But Aaron Donald. Fuck. Now who was it? Shit. Who did the Rams just play? Why am I drawing a blank?
Oh, the Bucks.
They just played. Bucks. Yeah.
You forget because they changed their name to the Tampa Brady's, so like their name is weird right now.
Yeah.
But
anyway, they threw the taunting penalty because he got in the guy's face, and it's like you can't, like, I don't know, man. Like I grew up with Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins. That's what defensive players did, man. They slammed you to the fucking ground and they talk shit about it. Or the receivers, they beat you on a route and they talk shit and they get in your face. That's what made the game exciting.
It's so weird because it's anytime any like major business, small businesses make moral decisions that are dumb. That's why they're small. Yeah. But when big businesses make decisions, the first reason is money, or the main or the only reason is money. I'm sure we could easily like draw up things about like kids watching and head injuries or something, but like I really don't see the impact of money when it comes to this taunting rule. I don't see how they would lose money if that rule didn't exist.
And that's exactly my point too, man. Because who the fuck is asking for that? I doubt the players care. I think the players actually like the shit talk and going back and forth. The average person watching the NFL isn't like, oh, this is horrible. Why can't they just play the game and stop talking? Like, who's asking for this?
Yeah, and I don't see the like the Becca or the Tiffany who has their kids. Like, I can't have my son be involved. It's like there's no way enough of those exist that you're changing the rule for that. Like, I just don't see it.
And I think what it is it's, corporate America, because I work in corporate America, has a tendency of overreacting to like the whole anti-bully thing. Like everything's anti-bully this, anti-bully that. So I think
while these guys run 25 miles per hour for ultimately a roll of the dice that they're gonna blow their brains out because they have brain damage. Like go on, man. But it's just so stupid.
Yeah, and I think it's corporate America overreacting to the whole anti-bully thing. So it's like, oh, well, we have to be the leaders of showing kids and showing America that you shouldn't bully. So let's be over the top on this taunting shit.
Oh, like it's a progressive thing, not not reactive, proactive in a way.
And it's more of a what's the brand? I could just see a bunch of like fucking geeks in a boardroom, who never put on a helmet or pads, and they're like, well, how can we increase our ratings by 0.5% and make an extra $50 million? Well, maybe we can tap into the anti-bully market, but we got to get rid of this trash talking. So let's institute this over-the-top taunting penalty, and that might get us an extra 50 million. And they you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it all comes down to money, but that's how you end up fucking shit up because you're so greedy,
Oh yeah, eventually the bubble. Yeah, eventually the bubble will burst because they're going in a way of making the game safer and safer and safer. It's like, well, eventually, like the game won't exist then because football, in essence, is not it's not safe. It doesn't make sense. But speaking of markets and hitting on markets, dude, I remember like maybe 4 or 5 plus years ago, October? Every October, every fucking team was pink. It was all breast cancer aware. What happened to that? I feel like they don't do that anymore as much as they like back in the day. Like the whole field was pink. I don't see it as much.
So Kaepernick. So they
What the
were
fuck
like,
did he do? He don't like titties now too?
no, but it was like, well, if we're gonna have a month for breast cancer awareness, then let's have a month for for police brutality. And then some other group was like, well, let's have a month for this. And then the NFL was like, all right.
So they basically, in a way, they were like,
Yeah.
all right, instead of doing a month for everything, fuck them titties.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so now you got like, so what happened was, it was like,
Kaepernick
all right,
fucked up everyone's tits.
There you go. There you go. Blame Kaepernick. He fucked them up, man. He fucked them up.
Oh my! I cannot believe. That makes sense because that is the same time period.
Right. So they were fighting for.
Oh my!
And that's kind of the sad reality of just being black in America, because it was just like, well, what about us? And they were like, well, we'll just rather not have anything, so you motherfuckers any recognition. But
oh shit!
We'll just cancel the whole thing. Fuck
that's
it.
the realest thing ever.
We'll just cancel it all. Fuck it. No breast cancer. No dying children.
Y'all want to come to the party? Fuck your party's off. Party is off. That's the most here. There goes the neighborhood NFL thing I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day,
dude, I'm crying. That's the realest thing I ever heard in my fucking life.
That's basically it, man. That's why we don't got titties anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Fucking NFL fucked over black people and titties.
Yeah, dude. Listen. Speaking of titties, man, like I was at an Eagles game. And the cheerleaders were like fully clothed, and I was like, "Yo, I remember it'll be 10 degrees outside, and they had on fucking skirts and like." Because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, "Why didn't they get rid of cheerleaders yet with all the Me Too shit?" Like you would think they'd be the first to go.
That is. Yes. Like I don't want to hear, oh well, there's some women who think that it's what's it called, embrace it or whatever. No, it's like I am with you. I'm very surprised that that's still a thing in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like with like you said, not only the Me Too stuff with the Washington football team changing their name and just everything and anything. I am like in a move that I cannot like we just said, we're talking about how they're proactive with things, most likely, even though the NFL has a history of being reactive. I cannot believe, and dude, so many stories come out about how these cheerleaders complain about how much they get paid and how much work they actually have to do, and the work they're doing is shaking their ass and tits for a bunch of horny guys. It's like, how is this? In what world is this still okay? I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just surprised with the image that they're trying to paint that shit still exists.
Well, so here's the thing. So when I went to the game, it was cold outside. Anyway, they were all fully clothed, and half the cheerleaders were dudes. I'm not exaggerating.
Oh wait, what? Like, why you got? Hey man, the fuck you ruined my boner mid podcast? Like, what the fuck? What do you mean half the cheerleaders were dudes? What you doing over there in PA, man? What the fuck?
No, listen. I think I haven't done this in a while since I was a teenage boy. But I used to go on every team's website. You've done this before, right? When you're bored in high school, you go on the team's website, you pull up the cheerleaders and which team got the hottest cheerleaders.
No.
I guarantee you.
No, John, I didn't. No.
Come on. No. You didn't do that in 10th grade.
Here's the thing. We're enough years apart where when I grew up on the internet, porn was everywhere.
Okay. So fair enough.
What am I going to do with doing that is like you at your age grabbing your dad's Playboy. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Like the pages are all ripped up and the ink is fading. What the fuck? And this girl, even though I'm down with this, like the girl's bush is like half of the fucking picture. It's not going to happen.
You're right, man. We didn't have Instagram and Facebook and
Tinder
all that shit back then. We were bored. But you probably see the same thing if you randomly pull up the Giants cheerleaders. I guarantee you.
Dude, I'm actually why am I looking at Tom Coughlin's dusty ass face? Giants cheerleaders. God, whoa.
That was unheard of when I was growing up.
Damn, man.
And again,
I didn't know. I don't think the Giants have cheerleaders though. Do they?
they might not. They don't even have a mascot.
Do the New York Giants have cheerleaders?
Yeah, cheerleaders.
Oh, they do?
There you go.
Cheerleading.
Yeah, Giant.
Wait, no.
Okay.
The Buffalo Bills, Chicago
all,
Bears, Cleveland Brown, Packers, New York Giants.
I'm looking at them.
Have no.
They're all chicks.
Yeah, no, I looked up the image too, but I think these might either be old pictures.
Yeah.
Because it's saying 2000. Here. Yeah, the Giants don't have cheerleaders, but I think the Jets do. So let's look up the Jets. Oh, there are going to be some fuglies in there. Cheerleaders, you know, one of their names is going to be Brittany or Bertha.
How they call themselves the flight crew.
That's cool.
Oh, they're all chicks. Okay. Well, the Jets are all chicks. I'm looking at them now.
Which team? What team had the PA? It was Eagles.
The Eagles, man. The Eagles. They were dudes out there, and maybe they were helping the cheerleaders, but I was looking out there.
Yeah. Wait, were they the guys just throwing them in the air, bro? Come on.
I don't know.
I think yeah. I'm looking.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, you're right. There's a guy here in the official picture. His name looks like it's Brandon.
Yeah, we're looking at the same thing.
Oh, there's a black dude. Oh, dude, you're a cheerleader. Yeah. John.
Oh, no, man. Couldn't pay me enough.
You're right. Now, it's not like a bunch of guys. It's like one guy, and I don't know who this is. Dude, this one guy's doing the high kicks. Dude, you know what's blowing my mind? All these girls are wearing skimpy short shorts and these training bras. He's got like a sweatsuit fleece on. It's like, why does he get to wear fully clothed clothes, dude?
He needs to show his
abs.
Not that I want to see that. Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. So that's
oh shit.
That's where we are with it now.
I didn't think we would get into this, but I guess based off how your channel started and now it's in the NFL, yeah. I think this is actually this is probably the most appropriate time to ask this question on a sports show, even this regular podcast. What did you think, man, with the whole Colin Kaepernick thing? Like, I'll shut up and I'll listen to if you got a long thing to say.
Yeah, so I did a documentary on Colin Kaepernick. I got a lot of shit for it. But in my documentary, I didn't really state my opinion. I just put the facts out there. But I think it's clear. I think Kaepernick was never serious about coming back to the NFL. And he milked the whole Black Lives Matter, that movement. He milked that for all he could. He got a fucking huge deal out of Nike. He got the attention, the spotlight. Now, did he do a lot of really good, things, socially with his spotlight? Yeah. But he used that under the whole guise of being blackballed from the NFL and not being allowed back in. And he definitely made a lot of money off of it. And it was very opportunistic, which, on one hand, I think that's fucked up. I think what kills movements are the handful of opportunists that comes out and try to use it as a moment to gain clout or make money. And I don't really think he was 100% genuine in his cause. And I think it's clear. I mean, how many times did he pump fake on actually coming back to the league? And let's look at where he was before he took the knee. He lost his job to fucking Blaine Gabbert, I think, and he was not going to last in the league, man. Like, so, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was fucking Aaron Rodgers that decided not to stand up for the flag, how many teams are going to look the other way and sign him anyway because he's fucking Aaron Rodgers? But like, if you're a Colin Kaepernick and you couldn't even keep your starting job on the 49ers, who were shit at the time, then yeah, you causing that much of a distraction is enough to not want you on my team. Are you better than Jay Cutler? Maybe, but is Jay Cutler gonna cause a bunch of shit?
I don't think personally. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on this, but I think
I'm saying
Jay Cutler's better than Colin. Jay Cutler's honestly as a career, much better than Kaepernick.
Yeah. I mean, my point is, he was never going to be a starter in this league, and he wasn't worth it. I mean, we bought in Michael Vick. Michael Vick was like, you know how many people love dogs. He was like literally Satan, and we bought Michael Vick because he's so fucking talented. It was worth it. Like it was worth bringing that negativity. And look at the great games he gave us when he came back. I mean, how many? So that's what I'm saying. Like if he was really a good quarterback and he was really serious about being in the NFL, we bought Michael Vick back as a fourth stringer. He was never like Michael Vick didn't go, no, fuck that. I'm Mike Vick. I start or I don't play or I don't sign.
I think that was the year that like Vince Young was on the team too.
Yeah,
you're right. It was Vince Young, him, Foles, and Cobb. Wasn't Cobb one of the guys?
Yeah, Kevin Cobb. Cobb. And like and literally everybody got hurt, and Mike Vick came in and he
destroyed the Redskins, and the rest was his. You're 100% right. 100% right. Yeah.
So like, and then then he did this whole thing where. He was supposed to have a workout for the NFL, and then like the last minute he canceled it, or it was a whole big spectacle. And when I saw his ad for Nike, I was like, "This is like you never saw Martin Luther King like golden like Martin Luther King never went to Georgia and did a speech, and then you saw him on a billboard for Coca-Cola. Like he's like, you know what I mean, Like, are you an activist? Or are you trying to make money?
I never even made that in my life. Never made that comparison. I never even thought about that. Now you got me thinking. I'm like, I wonder if Martin Luther King was doing like some Mickey D's commercials back in the day.
Right? Like, could you imagine that? Like, stand up for what you believe in. Get a Big Mac. Oh, like, come on. Like,
I got a dream, and that dream is Szechuan sauce.
Like, and dude, like, and my thing is like, okay, so the NFL is the devil. But how fucking bad is Nike as a company? Why are you like if you really care about people's right? Like Nike to this day still have like children as sweat slaves, sweatshops making their fucking sneakers for 2 cents an hour. But that's the company you're gonna stand behind and promote your like. Come on, dude. Like if you're gonna die on that hill, then die on that hill. If the NFL is evil and racist, what the fuck do you think Nike is? Right. So why are you signing a deal with Nike if you're really about people's rights? It's bullshit. So,
gotcha. I get what you're saying. I think, and yeah, to the people that do a lot of idol worshiping, it's always a slippery slope. It's always a dangerous thing in my mind because, like you said, anyone's gonna have demons in the closet. Like, even Martin Luther King. I mean, he was known for cheating on his wife. But like now that I think that is different, a type of egregious like Colin Kaepernick's trying to stand up for the people who are suffering, and then it's like you're signing a deal with that there's literally kids making the shoes. Like, dude, where the other one is more they're both morally like, probably not in the right, but I think one is way different than the other.
Right.
But I think that just has to do with idol worship. It's like at the end of the day, Martin Luther King, Colin Kaepernick, you, me, we're all people, man. We're all people. Right. But yeah, I get what you're saying with that Nike thing. It's just fun. Now, question then, because you definitely did more research than I did. I was just listening. Do you know if he publicly made more money with all these deals he did than if he would have stayed in the NFL and like the possible contract he had on the table?
So I didn't look into what he made in the NFL versus what I would imagine. Yes, I would imagine he made more money off of Nike than he ever would have made as a third string on the New York Jets or some shit. Because it was a pretty big deal. I don't got the numbers in front, but it was a pretty big deal. And I mean, a lot of athletes right now will make money off of their endorsement, more money off of their endorsements than their like original rookie contracts. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm pretty sure when he sat and thought about it, and it was like, do I, he probably has a really good marketing team, and it was like, do I really want to be third string on the fucking New York Jets and never play and make? And then he got to a point where it was like, you can't go back. You talked all this shit, you kneeled, and how do you come back with your tail between your legs, come running back to the league who you called racist, who you know what I mean? Like, how do you come back? But
Gotcha.
the transition, man, the funniest thing about that whole situation, I don't know if you remember this, but Marshawn Lynch came out and he was like, in 12 years I played football, I never stood up for the national anthem and nobody said shit. Do you remember that?
No, I don't, dude. That's fucking hilarious. It probably got like pushed under the rug because people are like, fuck, we, because he's such a brand name for so many entities. They're probably like, yo, don't fucking air this quote on your goddamn network. That's hilarious. Dude, I don't know him at all. He could be awful, but his personality, I love Marshawn Lynch's personality. I love it since the day he grabbed his crotch against the Saints. I fucking love it, man.
He's great, man. He's one of those people that I say are uncancelable.
Yeah, he's like the Charles Barkley kind of category.
Yeah, can't cancel him. Dave Chappelle,
Bill
Joe
Burr.
Rogan. You can't cancel them. They are the last heroes of what we do, of talking on a public forum and having to go under the scrutiny of.
You know what it is, though? You know what the main reason it is? Because even Louis C.K. is making a comeback, and eventually he'll be all right.
Yeah.
And I hope one day to get to that thing, because I have dude, like you just have to look at my Twitter feed in the past 10 days. It's just nothing but slurs and fucking F-bombs and everything. It's like, but and even though Dave Chappelle's last special, I wasn't the biggest fan of. It's overall they're all entertaining. Like all those people, they have a wide enough audience that is entertained by them, where it's like, well, if you're not entertaining, you can easily be canceled because you're gonna have a bunch of people who maybe really just weren't that big of fans of you, and the second the boat gets a little rocky, they're fucking jumping ship.
They're jumping ship. Yep. And I think that I think you're going to see a shift fairly soon, because I think a lot of us are getting tired of the freedom police, as I call them. You can't say this, you can't do that, and a lot of us are just getting sick of it, man. So I think you're going to see a shift soon where we're just going to be like, you know what? Take your anti-bully shit and shut up. Go sit in the corner. Let us have our fun.
Yeah, it's so weird. So I'll bring it back to Kaepernick real quick, and if you want, we can get into that too. Just because when the Kaepernick shit was coming out, it was also around the time when the president and everything, and then there was a new president, and so people in the political realm started getting into it. People in the social realm obviously in the social realm definitely started getting into it, which makes sense. People in the racial realm, again, obviously got into it.
Right.
And I was watching this just as a person who I just really like sports. And I love the NFL. I think NFL at this point is my favorite sport. I go to more baseball games because I love the Yankees just as much as I love the Giants. But I'll watch, Steelers versus Browns. I'm not watching for the fucking Braves versus the Phillies. You know what I mean? So, so I'm watching this shit with Kaepernick, and I'm like, it was kind of like, what's that thing? Occam's razor. Like the easiest solution is usually the answer.
Right.
The answer was, here's a guy who his play is just not worth the headache. It was really that simple. And he was a lesser version than Cam Newton. But watching this was so annoying because I was watching a group of people who, hated his guts, pointed out look at all the money he's making, which I'm not saying that one I get. And I do think usually with that kind of stuff, it's like money rules all. We're so human. We fall for greed so easily, man. We fucking fall for it. And he's signing Nike deals and everything. He's like, he's gonna milk it for as much as it's worth. 100%. He's not an idol. He's just a human. But when people were who I know don't know shit about football, and I know that's a douchey thing to say.
Exactly.
Talk about how oh, look at what happened with the Blaine he got benched for Blaine Gabbert, and I'm not saying you said it like this. What I'm saying is the team was 1-10. he actually wasn't playing his worst football. He was playing football. Like if you look at his numbers, they were doable. But when you have a 1-10 team and your quarterback's playing teams bench guys. Eli Manning got benched for fucking Geno Smith. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He could have made a comeback. Don't act like people are acting. There was a group of people on one side that were acting like, oh, he was going to be done with the NFL no matter what. No, he wasn't. If he never did the kneel thing and all this and didn't have this huge microscope on him, he probably could have got, like you said, kind of like a Vic thing. He probably could have signed with another team as a backup. He would have been a perfect. Go ahead.
He didn't want that. He wanted to be a starter. He wanted to be like, so think about his ascension and then his decline, how rapid it was. So when he had Harbaugh, he was the man. Like he was Lamar before Lamar. Like think of like when Lamar first came in, he couldn't throw. He didn't have a deep ball, but he could run his ass off. When Kaepernick first came in, he was revolutionary. We saw Vic do it, but 100-something yards against the Packers when they beat them in a wild card. That was the most rushing yards in one game from a quarterback ever. Like if Harbaugh would have stayed and developed Kaepernick, he would have been a top tier quarterback. But Harbaugh leaves. He never adjusts to, I forget whoever the fuck came in after Harbaugh, but he just fell off a cliff. And his ego was like, look, I'm a starter in this league. I'm me. 2 years ago, I was in the goddamn NFC Championship game. Now I'm fucking sitting behind Blaine Gabbert. This is bullshit. So I think if he didn't get the spotlight, yeah, maybe he would have stuck around a little bit longer, for money or whatever. But I think ultimately he probably would have bailed, because here's what a lot of people don't know. He opted out of his deal with the 49ers. They didn't fire him. They didn't release him.
I do know that.
Yeah.
He was but that's the thing. And that's the thing. Like he had a contract on the table, but he opted out. And then there's a lot of people who are on his side go look at all the money he left on the table, where it's like, yeah, but like what you're saying, John, it's like he's signing Nike deals, he's signing all these deals. Right. He might have been making more money, and he's getting some righteous pussy on the side, like, yeah. Like, so he's fucking killing it there. It's like, you know what I mean? So yeah. I think if you look at the 2017 offseason, I think he probably thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm not re-signing with the Niners. Somebody's going to want me. I can be a starter somewhere. And then as we got close to the start of the 2017 season and no one was calling, that's when the narrative shifted. Because remember, before it was, oh, I'm kneeling for police brutality and blah, blah, blah. This is why I'm doing it, and now I'm a hero. Everybody hated Trump, so they kind of anybody. So you kind of saw it as he saw his NFL wave starting to crash, but then he saw this new wave coming in and was like, "Yo, let me ride this fucking out right now." Exactly, and then once nobody came calling, and he, no team wanted to sign him, then the narrative shifted. Then it went from police brutality to the NFL is racist. No, motherfucker, no one wants you, man. You're not that good. So I think we're saying the same thing, honestly, man, because I agree with you. It's his personality in two folds. I think he had enough game left where if his personality with the kneeling and everything didn't happen, but also if his personality was humble enough where it's like, listen, I'm not doing well enough. Maybe if he had a personality where he'd be okay with being a second stringer. I don't know about you. And by the way, this is why I disagree with you real quick. His game was not revolutionary. Cam Newton was doing the same thing, but better at the same exact time. Yeah. Cam Newton's game was revolutionary. But all right, question, just his physical talent, where he was at that season. Could you see him being a backup with a Panthers offense, or say Russell Wilson in the Seahawks type offense? Yeah, I mean at the time, yeah. I mean now, no. No, not now. It's waiting, but like so then maybe. Of course. I don't think he wanted to be a backup though. But he could have been a backup on a lot of teams. So I think with that, man, I would say it was, again, from the outside looking in and from just me really liking football and sports, it was so annoying to see. It was annoying to see both sides. So, because I didn't even get to say that about the second side real quick. Like, it was annoying to see two sides that I know they're just pandering. I know they're just as evil. They're pandering and trying to make money off of this highly debated situation where you got one side just saying he sucks, Blaine Gabbert, boom. And I get that, but it's like, dude, I know you're pandering to your side. But then the other side, too, to be like, oh, he was blackballed from the NFL. It's like, no, he wasn't. He that wasn't. Type of headache is not second stringer. You don't want any second stringer, let alone a quarterback, to have that kind of public headache. It makes no sense for your locker room at all. Like Mayfield's in a really bad spot right now. Because if he has one more bad season, he doesn't have like the whole Colin Kaepernick stuff, but what he does have is that he's a popular figure. No one wants that kind of, figure to be a backup quarterback.
Distraction.
Yeah, dude. He's in as weird as this is, in kind of a similar realm as Kaepernick. He really is. It has nothing to do with blackball, because if the NFL shows you anything, these coaches, these owners, more so the coaches and the GMs. Some owners might be a little weird. They want to win. Their legacies are on the line. People thought Antonio Brown was going to be blackballed. Literally, Bruce Arians said he's not going to be on the team. What happened? He's on the fucking team and they're winning a Super Bowl. Like, these coaches want to win. They don't give a fuck. They want to win. If they thought Kaepernick was worth the headache, he'd be on the goddamn team. I'm telling you, man.
He would be. And that's and not to change gears, but that was all Tom Brady right there. They didn't want him on the Bucs. Brady was like, I need him, and Aaron's was like,
but that goes with
man,
winning. It's like, listen, he's our star quarterback. He wants a receiver. We got to do it. We have to do it.
We gotta get him. Yeah, man. But I mean, like at the end of the day, like you said, I think we're on the same page there, and I saw right through it almost immediately. And I think the fake activists are, I think it's a terrible thing to know better, you know what I mean? But you're using your voice to, I don't know, fuck it, whatever.
What do you mean? No. I don't want to have you say something you don't want, but what do you mean?
What I'm saying is, like, when you're pretending to stand for a cause because it's profitable for you, that's just some bad karma, like fucked up shit. Like, it's one thing to just not care about it. It's another thing to pretend to care about it because it can make you money. You might as well just come out and say, look, I could give two shits. I'd rather you say that than to come out and be like, yeah, this is a huge problem. This is a big deal. And you're just doing it to make money, man. Like, it's so like, I've done a couple of videos about like race relations, and people saw that and like, John, man, you should do more, or hey, man, you should really talk about this subject here and I'd be like, I probably could make a really good, compelling video about that subject and pretend like I'm passionate about it and probably get a shit ton of views, but it's wrong, man, because you know what? I honestly don't give a fuck. So I'm not I'm not even gonna try to use my platform to pander and try to make myself big that way, because it's not right. It's wrong. I'd rather just stay out of the conversation and the argument
until that $100 million Nike deal comes swinging in, and you're just like, shit.
Well, in that case,
and that's what it is. Greed, man. People are greedy.
Yeah, it's greed.
And I'm still stuck to this day. Who do I dislike more? But I'm grown, because usually I would say the word hate. Who do I dislike more? Do I dislike the people who, like, I know this is like with no facts, no sources, or blah 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 blah. I can just tell, like, you're saying this because you're doing it for money and fame. Like, you can just tell the people who are doing it, right?
Right.
Do I dislike them more, or do I dislike the idiots who are following these fuckers and then spew it as if like what that person says goes and what that person says is like the gospel. It's like who do I get mad at more, the evil entity or the fools following?
So for me, man, I get mad at the entity more because I can tell like you're an independent thinker. I'm an independent thinker. But one thing that I've learned as I've gotten older is that we're kind of a rare breed. And like really the average human is not an independent thinker. And I've actually learned this through 2016 and just seeing how many people would just fall in line, both sides, both the left and the right, without even using any kind of independent thought. It's like, oh, this side saying that, yeah, that's what we believe. And I'm like, both of you motherfuckers are being had, and y'all can't see that, man. And that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, both of you motherfuckers are being had.
You can't even see it. You can't even see it. It's ridiculous. And then like you as the independent thinker, you're the one getting, you're the one that gets ostracized because you have the balls to question something, and it's like y'all don't even question. It's really so like no, I mean, the average person is not most creative minds. Someone who does a podcast, who does videos, we're just like engineered to think outside of the box, to like question things, think critically. But the average person doesn't. They follow the group, they follow the path, and if you're the leader, the god, the whatever, they follow you blindly. It's so
two things to that.
I don't blame them.
It makes me when you're talking about like the independent thinking and all that, I still think like even us, like we're being had too, because it reminds me of that song by Pink Floyd, The Machine. And I don't know if you've ever listened to that song or if you like it or anything. But if you
with Pink Floyd,
what's that?
I fuck with Pink Floyd. Yeah, I'm big into classic rock.
Word. Oh no, that's awesome. Oh my god, we can talk like shit. Shit. I wish I knew that, man. I've been talking about that. But like The Machine, man, and you listen to the lyrics and you read the lyrics and you're just like, yeah, man, like we're all part of it. Like we're all like us right now. What we're saying, we're doing our job. We're that other cog in the machine, and we're spinning just fine. We got WD-40 on it, man. We're just spinning. And then shit, I forgot the other thing I was gonna say. I totally forgot the other thing based off what you were saying just now. Shit, it'll come across me in a second. Whatever.
Yep, man. But yo, man, I gotta go grab a bite to eat.
Shit, I've realized. Yeah, damn, man. Yeah, usually these episodes are like an hour, but yeah, we were talking for a while here. You're the first guest who's ever like, yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
No, it's cool. It's I'm gonna grab something to eat. I was because it's funny because I was telling.
I bet if this was Rogan, I bet if this was Rogan's show, you wouldn't have had to grab a bite to eat.
Rogan would have kicked me off after like a half hour. It wouldn't have been worth his time. That was okay.
I was like, why? You didn't say anything. Like he usually lets anyone on his show, man.
Yeah. But great talking with you, man. I'm willing to do this again, man. Anytime you want me on.
Oh, dude, seriously, we gotta talk. I love sports, man. So like, and sports lead to other things, which this episode did too, man. So thanks for coming on, John.
Cool. Oh yeah, absolutely. And let me know once it's uploaded, man. I'll have all my friends listen to it.
Yeah,
I'll probably lose half of them.
Yeah, go eat your fucking cheesesteak or whatever. I'll DM you all the details soon. All right.
All right, bad man. All right, you have a good day, man.
You too.